The fall of 1950 was the year Cedarvale was bathed in blood and moonlight. Nestled in the heart of New Mexico bean farming country, this sleepy little town was soon to become the stage for something dark and primal. 11 children went missing, snatched from the world like grains of sand, caught in a ravenous tide. It was Pastor Minuti who declared the town cursed by God, casting a wide-eyed glance at the women whose skirts dared to expose ankles. "Repent! God's wrath is upon us!" he cried from his pulpit, shaking a righteous fist. The townsfolk, God-fearing as they were, whispered of devilry and divine retribution. Among the lost was young Jimmy J., a boy with leg braces and a pot full of beans. Bullied mercilessly, he spent his lonely hours with toy soldiers on the muddy playground, his eyes always scanning the horizon as if seeking an escape. The day before he vanished, Molly, his sister, watched as Todd, Roger, and Ryan, the local baseball players, tormented him. They swung bats in the air, pretending to knock Jimmy's head off. "See, Jimmy? Bam!" Todd shouted as he swung his bat at one of Jimmy's toy soldiers, exploding it. "Imagine if that was your head, bro," Roger laughed. "Ha ha ha," as Todd stole Jimmy's walker, leaving him sobbing in the dirt. That night at the Halloween dance, Todd, Roger, and Ryan had dressed up as skeletons. The storm howled like a beast, rattling the windows of the school. Jimmy planned on getting his revenge, hobbling into the dance dressed in an elaborate shower costume. It was his way to blend in and avoid the baseball players. However, during the dance, Jimmy couldn't resist taking revenge on Todd. He entered the bathroom, slipping a hose over the top of the stall to drench Todd. "What the hell, bro?" Todd burst out of the stall with an angry thud. "Get him!" he yelled, chasing Jimmy through the school. Just then, two wolf-like creatures entered the dance. The kids were confused. Was this real or a Halloween prank? "Cool costume, man." "That's snazzy," said little Kyle McLaughlin as the creature leapt on him, ripping his arm off. "Ah!" he shouted as he dropped his Walmart board. The pursuit continued, the baseball players catching Jimmy. "Help!" The three boys began pummeling Jimmy. "You couldn't leave well enough alone, could you? Could you? You little twerp!" Todd screamed as he karate slapped Jimmy, sending him flying. Just when things were looking grim for Jimmy, a wolf monster intervened and swiftly took down the baseball players. Todd, showcasing his impressive martial arts skills, karate kicked the werewolf in the mouth before being dragged into the woods. Frightened, Jimmy hobbled home. That night, Molly heard her brother speaking to someone at his window, a low and sinister voice saying, "Let us in." Jimmy, brave in his way, shouted, "Get away from my house!" and pointed his BB rifle at the dark figure. The reply came, smooth as silk. "I can teach you to transform into a half dog, bro." Wow, Jimmy turned away, closing the door. That was the last time Molly saw him. The morning brought no sign of Jimmy J, only an empty bed and a town in turmoil. The search, frantic and fruitless, yielded nothing but the whispers of the wind. Cedarvale held its breath, convinced that something monstrous lurked in the shadows. Junior, a boy who toiled on the bean farm, spoke to Molly in hushed tones. "I saw them," he said, eyes wide with terror.
"Who's that I see walking in these woods?"
"Werewolves. They were asking for help, but their eyes, black as pitch and soulless. One of them grinned at me, and I saw rows of teeth, sharp and jagged. I pulled out my slingshot and shot him in the forehead. His head went down, and he said, 'You better run.' I ran, this thing chasing me on all fours like a nightmare. I barely made it to my grandpa's truck, but they're still out there, hunting."